Hi guys, my name is Camille and welcome to our very first episode of Dr. D Field Notes. In these episodes, we are going to be going over tips and tricks that we use in the field, me being a photographer and my husband Gannon being a field biologist and overall animal enthusiast. So today, I am going to talk about a new lens that I just picked up. We like to go hunting, we like to bird watch, do a lot of sports photography, and my main thing is I wanted to get a new telephoto lens, and in getting a telephoto lens you kind of want to know how far can you see, and all these videos I watch, they just talk about faraway objects and I'm like, well, how far? So today we're going to put it to the test. I recently just picked up a new Canon 400 2.8, which is the lens of the lenses. It is a unit, it is heavy. A lot of Nat Geo photographers use it, and I can understand why. It's expensive. If you are to buy it brand new, I did get it used off Facebook Marketplace. Thing is probably as old as I am, but still works. Glass is great. So with this lens, what makes it so good is that you have it at a 2.8 f-stop, which is the lowest that it can go, and it just helps you get sharper images, lower aperture, so you can do a lot more lower lighting settings, and just overall better lenses. Now, you can get lenses with the f-stops at 5 or higher, but you are limited, especially on a day like today. It's been cloudy and rainy, and then you're trying to push your ISO up and your shutter down. And when it comes to wildlife photos or sports photography, that doesn't really work because you need to be able to shoot fast and you don't want your images to be super grainy. So we're going to talk about new lens. Gannon's going to show you right here. This is the monster. Thing is massive. The dude I bought it from actually made this lens hood, and I would say it's pretty sick. So here's the 400. It is a prime lens, so you are not zooming. It is already ready to go far away distance. It does have a focus ring. Now, this lens was made for an EF Canon, and I'm shooting on an R5 today, so we did have to get an adapter. I went the more inexpensive route, and I went with the K&F EF to RF adapter on Amazon. It was only like 48 bucks compared to the Canon adapter that's $199. So we're also going to be putting that to the test. It says it still does autofocus, so we'll see how that all works. And for 40 bucks, if we can still get a good image, then it's totally worth it. With this lens, you're definitely going to want to put it on a tripod. There is no holding it and shooting. It is way too heavy for that. And you never really want to be holding the body. You're always going to be using the lens as a way of carrying the camera. So we have it on a Vortex tripod today that we normally use for a spotting scope. And we have a rangefinder that we're going to use to pinpoint some objects to show exactly what image it can get and how far away that subject is. All right, so we're gonna do a couple subjects just to show exactly how far it is. We are currently on our property. As you can see, we have this back hillside. We'll do a couple things to show how close it really can get. The rangefinder will show us how far in yards that is, and then you can see how clear of an image you can get at so-and-so yards. All right, so we're using a rangefinder today that we use while we're hunting. Our first subject is gonna be the blue dumpster. So setting on it, so this is what the image is going to look like at 58 yards away. Okay, so next we're going to be getting this cholla cactus out yonder. And we are hitting it at about 103 yards. So this is what the image is going to look at 103 yards. Okay. All right. Next, we're gonna do the hillside and see how far we can get. We're gonna aim for one of the cactus on top.
Try to hit that triple cactus right there.
Yeah. So, triple cactus up top is where we're gonna go. Rangefinder. That is 338 yards. So, this is what the image is gonna look like. So we have this back hillside over here. My specialist behind the camera quotes it at about 700 to 800 yards. If there was critters on there, you may or may not be able to see it. Might need a little editing, but you can still get the hillside, the birds flying or whatever. Or if you're doing an action sports shot, you can still, get a bike or a truck going across, which is pretty good considering how far away that is, especially if you're not able to get there in time to capture said subject. So my thoughts on the lens so far, it's the furthest I've ever been able to take a picture to begin with, let alone, brand new. This lens is looking at $12,000 for a really good deal, and I think we're going to really be able to put it to some good use to get some wildlife footage, as well as using it for action sports, surfing, any long distance, motocross, motorsports, we'll be able to use it. There are some cool settings on here where you can set a focus, and if you need to change real quick, focus on something else, but then you want to quickly go back to your other subject, there's a button on here, focus preset, that you can just hit. That will send you right back to where you were, which is really nice, especially when you're shooting birds, and you're moving around, you can get back there real quick. Obviously, downside of the lens, it's freaking heavy. It doesn't fit in a backpack. So you really got to plan out your shoots when you're going to be using this. There's a dude that I really like to watch and follow on Instagram. He's called In These Mountains, and I believe he shoots on a 500 or 600, and he's shooting bighorn sheep, but the lens is still comparable in size, and he just straps that thing to the back of his backpack, which is ballsy.
We're definitely going to be doing.
Yeah, we're going to have to do it, but and that might be Gannon's job to be carrying that, who knows. But yeah, super cool lens. We're going to stick around, get some more shots, and we'll show you what we got. Thanks for watching.